Return of the Goon Squad. Need to get rid of these guys.
Goon Squad.
What's up, guys?
It's Goon Squad! Hope you guys have been staying safe during these times.
Alright, so today we're going to be talking about our first experience seeing Virtual Self at his first show in Brooklyn
3 years
3 years ago now.
Damn, time flies.
That's so crazy. So, when we first heard that the show was happening, there were kind of some leaks, or like I think someone found a poster of the show that was put out before it was even officially announced. But then when we finally heard about the show, I remember I was waiting. I think I was actually at work, and I went behind the service desk I was at, and I was just ready for the drop. And I remember it dropped, and I think I got tier 2. I was trying to get tier 1, but those sold out immediately and got tier 2.
Yeah, and then on his break, he calls me, and then he was like, "Dude, Nathan, we're going to Brooklyn."
Yep, we're
I was
going.
like, "What?"
We kind of said, like, we thought the tickets were going to sell out immediately. And so I was like, okay, here's the deal. If we can actually get tickets to go, we're going to go. Otherwise, like, it's too bad. But yeah, we got the tickets, and so that was that. It was time to start the trip. So once we got there, we didn't know what the show was going to be, because at that point he had only released his EP. So we're like, okay, that's 20 minutes of music. What is he gonna do for an hour?
And questions came up like, was he going to play Porter songs in his Virtual Self shows?
Like, I know that sounds really dumb now with all the tweets he's made.
This was before that tweet where he said, "No Porter music at Virtual Self shows, no Virtual Self music at Porter shows ever."
Yeah, I remember talking with you. I was like, is he just gonna play a whole bunch of new music for an hour that we haven't heard, and this is just a beginning EP to a huge full-length album or something like that?
Yeah.
Didn't know.
It kind of bothered me how much I didn't know about it.
I remember actually, I was so excited because I thought there was a ton of lore behind the project.
Yeah, this backstory, what does this project Virtual Self mean?
Yeah.
And
who are Technic Angel and Past Selector really? And
nothing.
Nothing. We thought going into it, I remember just spending days just looking at the Virtual Self website and looking at all the weird little things you could find on the forum that they made, the fake forum. I thought all the cryptic language and words all actually meant something. So we thought it was a big ARG at one point as well. Yeah. So I remember I thought going into the show, I was like, okay, this show is going to answer questions. We're finally going to know the background of Past Selector and Technic Angel, or they're going to show, who they were, some kind of cinematic or something. Oh, okay. I also thought, it was what are the visuals going to be like, or what's going to be at the show? And I remember. So I was like, okay, I think the crystal in the Ghost Voices music video
could be a prop, that he actually uses, he's inside the crystal or something had to do with that.
That crystal. Okay,
you found that one image, right, where you thought you saw the reflection of it?
Yeah, so, and this is actually before the Ghost Voices actual music video came out, too.
Oh, yeah.
This is just the visualizer. Yeah. So I'm like, there must be some lore ethos with the orbs moving around. I don't know, something with the crystal. I thought you would go in and something would happen and the crystal would come down from the ceiling or something like that. Fast forward and we were finally there, getting ready to go. This is what we were kind of thinking right before we went in. Alright, we just got off the last train. We're walking towards the venue right now. Oh my gosh, I'm so freaking excited. Oh, Porter. Okay. Gotta quit fanboying too hard, because, I don't know, just be disappointed. Alright, here we go. So, when we first went out to the show, or went to New York, it was initially scheduled to be at a venue called Avant Gardner, And at the last second, he put out a tweet saying that the venue had changed due to like construction or something that was happening there. And so it changed to some random warehouse in like
Brooklyn.
a really sketchy part of Brooklyn. And so
like when we got the news that Evan Gardner was being moved to this random warehouse, Sam started to get like really skeptical about this whole trip. He's gonna be like, oh, dude, like Evan Gardner looked like the perfect like venue for Virtual Self, and we hadn't even seen this show before. Like I remember we were like going onto the venue site,
yeah.
and then we're like researching like the different places, because it had like several different like venue areas in that venue, right?
Yeah, so we looked at the one that it should have been in, and you know, it's probably just marketing on their website, but they made it sound like, you know, it had this like pristine sound quality, and the actual layout of everything looked like kind of futuristic and Virtual Self kind of. I was pretty skeptical. I was like, he had this whole thing planned for this venue, and now we're gonna just go to some warehouse. Like, it's probably like the audio quality is gonna be bad, and maybe
The whole
the
show's
visuals.
just gonna be bad.
Yeah, I was pretty skeptical about it all, honestly.
But it turned out to be for the better. Like the show fitted like this random warehouse so much better, as we found out like going to the show. I remember like fast forward to us actually getting to the venue. Literally like this random warehouse, like kind of sketch. The stage was like so blank. I was like, where's the lights? Like, where's anything? As we walked in there, we're like, oh, there's so many Porter fans here. This is like our first Porter show, solo show, because we've only seen him at festivals and Shelter Live before. So this was our first actual Porter designated show.
I think I think it was my third time seeing Porter ever.
Yeah, fourth time for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I just remember going in, and it was basically just a huge bare floor, basically. And they just had these like it was pretty cool, kind of ominous, purple, like ghost voices kind of type color lights just over the entire, I guess you call it dance floor? I don't know.
Yeah.
Call it that. And you walked in, and there was just one merch booth, if you can even call it that, just off to the side, selling the Virtual Self Brooklyn crew neck.
With like the Eon break. So they just a crew neck with like the Eon break, like, what do you even call that thing?
It was just a screenshot from the music video of like kind of near the end.
Of that ball shaped meteor kind
Yeah,
of
like
thing.
the crystal thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Super
it
plain.
just said Virtual Self Brooklyn 2017.
Yeah, it was super plain.
We can say everything.
I even said when we were in the merch line, like, dude, I'm not getting that.
Yeah, I remember seeing it. I'm like, this is another thing. Like, our expectations were just so crazy high. Like, I thought the merch was gonna be like like a ton of merch, which I was so, like, I told Nathan when I was going there, like, I'm gonna buy everything that they have. Like, I want all of it.
So the two openers for the show were DVI and Raito. Two like techno artists, techno house.
I'd say Raito is that way. DVI is kind of more like, kind of makes like almost like old, I don't know, I want to say like video game music.
Like kind of music that you would hear on like old N64 games.
But I remember when they first announced the openers, I had never heard of these people in my life.
Yeah.
Like, who is Raito and DVI? Like, I had no idea.
Yeah.
But later to find out that DVI actually helped make most of the visuals for the show. But yeah, I remember seeing them perform. DVI was honestly, it was a little rough. He would be DJing for a little bit, and then he had
a phone flashlight to see his board.
It was weird. I don't know what was going on with that. He
Controller.
couldn't see his controller. I saw him using his phone, and then he just had his like MacBook connected to like the projector.
Yeah.
And he was trying to play some visuals on loop, but then they were crashing.
Yeah.
So he was actually supposed to play for an hour, but because of all the technical issues, he actually cut it off to only like 45 minutes.
And great for us, because the next artist, Raito, played for like 2 hours.
Yeah, he literally played for almost 2 hours.
And I swear to God, like not bashing on Raito at all. Like he's a super good DJ and artist, but he kept on playing like songs. I swear he played like a couple songs like over and over again. So it was that for like 2 hours, and I kind of like was like to Sam, dude, like I kind of want to kill myself.
I was like, I just remember he was playing, and I was like, didn't he just play this? Like, it was just going over and over, and I just remember because DBI had kind of got cut short, and I don't know if they needed to like plan more to like get Virtual Self ready, but yeah, it literally was like almost 2 hours, and I think I think they did start booing after a while.
Oh yeah, dude.
Like it was really
people were
bad.
like,
they were getting mad.
They're like, get the off the stage.
Yeah, like it was bad. Like yeah, people were like, get out. Like
they're booing.
It was pretty rough, honestly, and. I remember, also just being like, I am so done. Like, I need to hear Porter. I've been here for almost 3 hours, and we still haven't heard anything yet. And just all the like feelings and stuff we were talking about going into it, just wanting to know what was going to happen, all that kind of stuff was just being delayed by this act.
I think after Raito ended, we started seeing like some movement, I think, towards like the exit sign or something. I thought we saw like this crystal or something hiding behind like the stage or something near the exit sign on the right or left side. And keep in mind, like we had no expectations, like we couldn't expect anything. So ever since the show was announced, like we would just kind of like be talking for hours and hours.
Yeah. So
like
what's gonna be?
Like theorizing what this show's gonna be like.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember seeing that light too. It was on the corner of the stage, and like you could only see like just a little bit at the top, and it was kind of like that crystal purple, and it also switched to red. So I'm like, oh, something's gonna happen. Or it can be kind of like in the Eon Break music video where it would switch from like purple to red. Finally, the time came.
The lights dimmed, and we could just hear this faint whisper voice. It started off saying like Chaos S.I. It was the extended version of what we now know as the Halcyon Virtual Self Utopia live edit.
Yeah. Like from that show, like he's never played anything quite like this first show. Like the beginning part was way longer. Like the voice said like a lot of weird things. When this was first starting, I remember I was like kind of like repeating what it was saying. Like, okay, this is some lore.
What does it mean?
What does this mean?
I also remember being like, yo, like, is this part of his set?
Yeah, it was weird. Like this isn't music. Like,
yeah.
What is this beginning part?
But then like, after particle reflex, technical voice, holy oblivion, and then when the kick came, it went Utopia, eternity, endless, and then the lights finally started coming.
Yeah, like the side lights, and they started like moving out. And then finally like gets to the main dropper
with the virtual self text on the screen, and then we see Porter like with his hands in the air, and he's wearing a freaking cape.
When I saw that, I was freaking out. Like he walks on the stage, and you see him in his black, I think like kind of high cut boots, and then he had a cape on, and then he had a beanie with some headphones on. So he was dressed up as Technic Angel, and so I was like, whoa, that's so cool. But yeah, when he first started to play and those initial lights started coming from underneath him,
he was like,
I turned over to Nathan, I'm like, how is he doing this?
That's honestly like the most surreal experience ever.
Yeah, so as the show went on, like, he was playing music we had never heard before. And then whenever he would play, like, his actual, like, Virtual Self songs, like, right after he played the intro, he went into Ghost Voices, and he mixed it right after with Jor. Yeah. And he had these crazy lights that also started going, like, pretty much every time he'd switch to a new song, and he'd have a new light set up, and it was just blowing me away.
It's just crazy how much like work him and like his lighting team, Ghost Dad, put into the whole atmosphere of Virtual Self.
Yeah.
I think one lighting design that really caught my eye was Titanic. When the green lasers like made that pyramid over him, and he was just like hopping around in it.
Under it, yeah.
It was so sick.
Oh. Like I'd never seen a show where like the artist was like kind of like the center of a light show, like. Or he was just kind of like reacting to the stuff around him, or like I don't know how to explain it, Like Porter had always said that, you know, they kind of designed the shows to where, you know, they never had any lights shining directly on him. Like he always was like a mysterious figure. But like every single time a new song would come on and they'd have a new light change and everything. Like it was just crazy.
So we basically kind of like at the end of the show, he ended with Eon Break. We were just like blown away, like we didn't know what to think.
Yeah.
I mean, we got our answer, like there was no Porter music in the whole set, so.
Yeah, like I remember my honest thoughts right afterwards were, well, that was crazy. And also I didn't know that, like, for some reason, like being young and naive at the time, I was like, did he just play like 30 new songs?
Oh yeah.
Like, for some reason I had in my head that like most of the songs he played were like his own songs and were like
I mean,
new.
he did make a lot of edits on those songs, but like, of course, only those 5 songs that were in his EP, those are the only songs that
like his.
were actually his. But he did make a lot of cool edits, like the Vijor edit. He did an edit on, I think, Forever, Outphase.
And when he played Duvet by Boa.
Boa.
Yeah,
Yes,
I
okay.
thought, I was so like amazed by everything, I just didn't know that. I even thought like, did Porter just make his own anime for the show? Like I didn't even know that was an existing show or anything. So I thought that was crazy, and that part of the show really stuck out to me too.
He brought back Castles in the Sky, that was a DDR song too.
Yep.
A lot of songs from the Konami games that you got inspired by, because a lot of Virtual Self is like going back to like 2000s, late 90s, like neo trance type music, even techno.
Yeah, but we had no idea what anything was, so it was literally all just like, you know, new experience. And I remember, I think we might have a clip of me during the show that I recorded. I was just so confused. But then, like at the end of the show, he was like walking off, but then he came back on and I guess he played some more music, but then he got on the mic.
Yeah, he actually hopped on the mic as Virtual Self and he basically said like...
Test.
Check. Yeah, but he basically says on the mic, check. He said he basically never thought he would have said anything on the microphone as Virtual Self.
Yeah, he wanted to be silent, but he was like, he's been holding on to this music for so long, hasn't shown anybody.
Never played it he said he would never play it during a Porter Robinson DJ set.
Yeah.
He was just waiting for
this moment.
Yeah, to just Virtual Self to be its own thing.
So that was really cool.
And he's like, I'm gonna play one more song, and he ends up playing like 3 more.
Yeah.
It's like, he played like Sat Final. He played a sick edit with that song. That's also a Konami DDR song by Ram. And then he plays Smile Fuck Up. And then
really
ended
good.
with Key.
Yeah. And that was because I was wondering throughout the whole set, where was Key? He played every other song.
Yeah.
But yeah, after the show, I remember my honest first impressions were that was really cool. But you know, I think I'll always just like his EP that came out. I don't know if I'll ever like any of the other stuff he played though, because I remember it was just so new and just so much that I didn't know what to think about it.
I think the biggest thing too is after the show, we still didn't know what the hell anything was.
Yeah, I thought I was like,
so we're still like, damn it, like. We went all the way to Brooklyn.
Yeah.
We still don't know anything.
Like I thought I learned so much about all the lore and everything like that, and ended up being more confused than when we came in. Honestly.
At least some questions were answered, but like...
You know, it's just funny looking back at that now. Like literally most of the stuff he's played at that show, he never played ever again.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to say VS is dead, but...
He says it's pretty much confirmed done for now.
Hiatus.
Maybe he'll resume it after he tours with Nurture, assuming like shows come back and he doesn't have to do it.
Out.
Yeah.
But yeah, he never wore his cape again. So I guess final thoughts about it all.
Virtual Self in the end, we found out, of course, now doesn't mean it doesn't mean anything. There's no story behind Virtual Self, which was so like sad to hear because it felt like we were on like this journey,
Yeah.
going to Brooklyn and then going to a lot of other virtual self shows after that, and realizing there was no story. It was just like his nostalgia in creating something very mysterious and beautiful. He basically revived this forgotten era of music that, like, who listens to this type of music nowadays?
I remember right after those first shows, or just that first show, like, you know, people like Kid started playing like Isla, and it just restarted all that kind of stuff. A whole bunch of new artists started releasing music that kind of sounded more like those sounds.
Yeah, a lot of people got inspired by that project
Yeah,
too.
it was
And
really cool to see.
I don't think a lot of people really understood kind of like what this project meant and why it was so significant. Like, he literally brought back like this forgotten era of music, and by himself he just kind of made it relevant again. So I think that was the kind of point of the whole project.
In a way, we say it has no story or anything, but in a way, like, just him creating it is kind of like its
Story in itself. That was the
Crazy.
kind of atmosphere he was going for though, because he wanted to make this mysterious show and like question or make people question like, what is virtual self?
Yeah, I think even Sense of Misery, like,
Yeah.
I want to just drop them into this world and be like, you know, the heck is this?
Yeah. Yeah.
And he succeeded in that very, very well.
He wouldn't even tell people like what like the songs were that he played during his sets, because he wanted people to find out themselves.
Yeah, after that, you know, we were kind of hooked though. Like, you know, we still thought there would be more stuff coming out, and, you know, we're just excited to see where it took. But yeah, like, after that show, I remember the next show we played was at the Buku Festival.
In
Arts
Louisiana.
Festival,
Right?
yeah, something like that. And actually, the show changed so much.
Yeah, since
Like,
that.
that first show, like, was just one continuous thing, whereas right after that, it split into, like, how we're used to it now with a Technic Angel part,
Or Past
Selector part, then Technic Angel, which was not that original show.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, because we forgot to mention at this Utopia show, he didn't designate Past Selector and Technic Angel like he does now.
Yeah.
That was his only show aside from like Club System sets where he didn't designate
Holy
certain
shit.
parts.
you didn't do it at Holy Ship either.
Oh, and
Oh yeah, that was the second show, huh?
yeah, technically
Yeah,
Holy Ship was the second show.
That's true.
Anyways, that was our experience at the Virtual Self Utopia show. Again, I hope you guys are staying safe.
Yeah, thanks so much for watching, and yeah, stay tuned for our next videos.
Peace.
See ya.